Hi, it's me, Famcho. In today's video, we're going to be talking about why you should be playing Stride decks in Dare Days 2. First off, what is Stride? Stride was a mechanic introduced at the beginning of the G era of Cardfight Vanguard. You can Stride when both you and your opponent are at grade 3. You can discard cards equal or greater than 3 grades to Stride to a grade 4 from your G zone. Basically an extra deck for Vanguard. Some Strides also need you to discard a certain grade 3 to go into them. What is Generation Break? Generation Break is a key word that you will see on a couple cards, like your late game Strides. Generation Break can only be used if the total number of face-up G units both in your Vanguard and in your G zone equal to or greater than the number that's on the card. For instance, Chrono Dragon Next Stage has a Generation Break 2, so you won't be able to use that on your first Stride turn. What is a Stride Crest? You get a Crest from your grade 1 in your ride line. Basically, Crests allow you to Stride and give your front row 5k power for each face-up card in your G zone, and normally one additional effect as well based on your deck. The 5k power from each face-up card in your G zone is crazy, basically allowing you to hit big numbers. If you live into the late game, it makes it almost impossible for your opponent to guard everything. What is grade 2 gaming? Normally with Stride decks, you always want to go blind second, since if you ride grade 3 first, you won't be able to Stride since your opponent will be on grade 2, and you really won't be able to do anything since before Striding, your grade 3s are basically vanillas. This is also an issue back in the day too, where people wouldn't ride a grade 3 and stay on grade 2 until their opponent rode grade 3, then next turn they could ride up to grade 3 and hit them back with a big Stride turn. You can replicate this in your games as well. If you're going first against a Stride deck and you have a good early game deck, you can actually skip your ride and commit just grade 1s and 2s to the board that either gain power, draw cards without being on your grade 3. Grade 2 gaming is actually pretty cool. So this comes down to who has a better early game, and sometimes can lead to deck out into the late game as well. This is why you'll see a lot of the Stride decks play a lot of early game tools that can draw them cards or deck thin, or can make a 23k column both in Chronojet and Shiranui. Shiranui has access cards like Shinri and Tenrei for early draws as well. Luard runs the undercover package with Daria, which can search for any Shadow Paladin or undercover card like Tigris, which has an early 10k shield as well as an 8k booster that can be bounced back to hand at the end of turn to keep hand advantage. Messiah runs Voltros and Leo, which can call cards from the top 5 cards of the deck. So all these decks have some tools so they can grade 2 game if needed. So then why should you be playing a Stride deck? They're just fun. Striding is a super fun mechanic. Being able to get triple drive and take advantage of all the good generic cards that are in standard, it's just an overall fun experience. And all the Stride decks are in the top 15 decks of this game, which I made a video on right here, and will be down below in the description. So let's talk about a couple of these Stride decks. Chronojet, the first Stride deck added to the game, will normally use cards like Upstream to search for key grade 1s from the deck, like Gigi to draw cards, then put grade 1s back to the deck with Fate Rider to recall that Upstream from the deck to get even more advantage in multi-attacks. Messiah was the second Stride deck to be added to the game. It is the deck that needs its key pieces the most. You can attack with cards like Arrest Messiah and Sacrifice Messiah to self-lock that column, then attack with one of the Messiah Strides to unlock that, get basically another attack, since cards that are unlocked to stand, allowing you to attack with them again. Messiah has one of the best GB2 abilities, since at the end of turn, all locked cards will unlock. You can Soul Blast 1 for each one to draw 1 card. This effect also isn't once per turn, allowing you to draw multiple cards at the end of your turn, and with cards like Makani, which are basically 2 free soul, allows you to keep drawing cards throughout the entire game. Luard. This and Shiranui were added at the same time. This deck was super strong with Saragon, but sadly they choice restricted it with Luard. But this doesn't make this deck bad at all. This deck is probably the second strongest Stride deck set. Luard is a toolbox deck. Luard's on Stride allows you to retire a rear guard to search for 2 grade 1s from your deck, which would normally be cards like Simas for more deck thinning and free cards, or Painkiller for more draws. Your Drag Stride or Luard Stride is probably one of the most dangerous Strides in the entire game, gaining 10k power, a crit, an extra drive, and your opponent can't call grade 1 or greater cards, and a Guardian Circle, making it so they can't guard with Perfect Guard, unless they have Elementaria. Drag Strider also gains power from the Crest, and if you try a Lumosity Wizard, for its effect, it'll gain even more power. Shiranui. Shiranui is the strongest Stride deck in the game. It has good early game with Ford and Shinri. One of the strongest keywords with Dominate. Allows you to choose one of your opponent's rear guard to attack. Both your on Stride and your first Stride allows you to do this. This deck also has 2 Archetype restanders with Furai and Sekai that gain their own power along with Crest power as well. You can also run Verenas as well for actually even more restanders if needed. So on your first Stride turn, you can make like 7 attacks, which is insane. There are even more Stride decks coming into the game later on with Night Rose and Hari, and I'll probably do videos on those as well when they come to Dare Days, since those decks look fun too. If you want to check out some gameplay of these Stride decks, I recently did a stream where I did play all these decks live on stream, so if you want to check that out, I will leave that here and down below the description. I do stream both on YouTube and Twitch. If you want more cool Vanguard videos and streams like these, please subscribe, since these videos take a while to make, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!